Okay, everyone, this is episode 1478. It's Blind Magic in Alice Springs, and I am your presenter and host, Murray Stewart. Well, it is said, and we know, that the life that we are all living is full of the light and the shade. Yeah, that's right, the light and the shade. We've all found it very confronting, haven't we, about the news of the young people with disabilities and their parents who have recently passed away directly or indirectly as a result of decisions made by the National Disability Agency. And I say that we can't let those deaths pass without action. No, we can't. Because if we do that, if we get involved, and change is brought about, then we will know that those children and their parents have created a legacy. And that's what we need and that's what we want. Certainly that is my viewpoint. And I've made it clear this morning to people that I've written to that we need better training urgently. We need better training for decision makers in the National Disability Insurance Agency. And we also need some accountability when these incidents sadly occur. Yes, we do. We need accountability, because if we've got accountability, then we will have a circumstance whereby hopefully these crazy decisions are not made to leave people who should be receiving intensive support alone, vulnerable and available to the real possibility that they could pass away because they have not got that support. Yeah, and if we can just bring about change that ensures that the agency fully understand that there will be a consequence for very bad decisions, then, yeah, as I said, these young people and their parents would not have died in vain. It's really important to me, and I'm sure to you out there, that that not happen. But in my malaise this morning, my melancholy malaise, I have decided to wake myself from that slumber and keep paddling along literally. And so I have. I've swung into action. I have written to people who may be able to influence change, people who are in the media and do have good contacts. Let's see what happens. But also, this morning, wow, what about that story of that young fella, the young boy, who is a hero, an absolute hero. His last name, Appleby. Help me out, Heather.
Austin.
Austin, yeah, young Austin Appleby there on the coast of Western Australia. Whoa, what a hero. So the family found themselves in a situation where they were being swept out to sea. And Austin was left with no other choice but to swim for help. And so he did. And once the kayak that he was driving started taking on water, he made a decision that he just had to swim. He had to swim. And he then made another decision. As he was swimming for help, he knew that his life jacket was more of a hindrance than a help. So he made the decision to discard that life jacket, and he swam for some 4 hours, 4 kilometres, 4 hours, in order to get help for his family. Having arrived on the beach, he then had to sprint some further kilometres to find a phone to call for help. And the accurate information that he was able to provide emergency services about what the family were wearing, the type of raft they were on, led to their rescue, some 14 kilometres out to sea. What a hero. What a hero. So as I say, the light and shade of life. After yesterday being in the shade of what had happened to the Clune family, then I and we as a nation stumbled upon the light of a real hero, a wonderful, wonderful young man. I mean, I don't know what would have been going through his mind, but wow, what I do know and what you now know is that he has a steel-trapped mind and good physical fitness. But I think also what was obviously driving him was an intense and deep love for his family, his sister, mum and dad. Yeah, he obviously has an intense love for his family. And we say, well done, young man, well done. But going back to the story about these young people with disabilities and their parents passing away, I did use that word malaise before. No, we must not get ourselves into a malaise, which means that our melancholy state actually disables us from helping these people. And I'm determined that I don't let that happen. I am determined, so I'm doing my bit as much as I possibly can to get something done, to create a legacy that will be left to ensure that these people did not die in vain. Yeah, that's right, did not die in vain. You know, sometimes I think that we're getting to the stage where people with disabilities are once again being treated as expendable as we were in the medieval times. I've spoken to you about that. But people with disabilities, equally as important as anybody else. In fact, right here, right now, they should take centre stage. Yeah, right here, right now, they should take centre stage so we, in the horror of what has become them, can help to ensure, as I said, that we can create a legacy. And in terms of this young man who's a hero and saving his family, I think we should draw on those emotions, on his power, on his want to save his family. Maybe we can draw on some of that energy to do exactly what I've suggested for these people who have passed. And that is precisely what I have done today. And I am trying to put myself in the position of this incredible young man who did what he felt he needed to do in order to save his family, so I can now put in place, an instrument, as I said, under the Act that guides the NDIS, that ensures that they do not continue to make really, really dumb decisions. Not just dumb, life-threatening decisions that will see more and more people die. We cannot have that happen. So I am in the wake of this young bloke, this hero. I'm trying to take on some of his energy to drive myself to ensure that people are saved. Yeah, that's right, that people are saved. Because that is exactly what this is about, saving people. All right, if you can join me in some way, shape or form, maybe contact the media or Mark Butler's office. Mark Butler, of course, is the Minister for the NDIS. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you do. Every little bit counts. I'll do my bit. You do your bit. And I so hope that one day we can say with absolute certainty that these young people and their parents did not die in vain. In fact, they are now heroes by their legacy. That's right, heroes by their legacy, because that's the only reason why we are motivated to create that legacy is in their passing. And I, for one, as I said, I want to make sure that they did not die in vain. Okay, folks, I'll catch you very, very soon. Now, I think this episode is 1478. Am I right, Heather?
That's right.
Wow. And this has been, and it always will be, a Blind Magic Communications production.